Welcome, friends. We're here in our garage last shop, and today we're going to try something different, right, Mrs. Alpina?
Yes.
By producing content for you every week, we have neglected some of the things that we need to be doing because, there is work, making money, and other things.
Mm-hmm.
Life does not revolve around YouTube, unfortunately, or fortunately. So today we're going to do something different. We are going to finish some of the projects that we did in the past, but we'll kind of let them with loose ends and show you a couple of projects that are too small to be an episode, but they are important if you are a homesteader, a homemaker, a DIY, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of being a homemaker, no, that's not right. A homesteader and a DIYer is that on occasion you have to do small things that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to show you a couple of things. The first one, we have in one of our bathrooms, the toilet paper holder has come off the wall because it was used as a lift rather than
A grab bar, yeah.
And we're going to replace that. We're going to kick it up a notch, not just put it back on the wall, but make it a little more elegant.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to install a grab bar so we will avoid that problem in the future, right?
Right.
So that's two projects, right? Then we are going to show you the finishing touches of a neat project we did almost 2 months ago now, which is a nestable table. Mrs. DIY doesn't work from home too often, but once she does, she needs an office, right?
Right.
So she doesn't need a big table,
Desk.
desk table, because that would be on the way most of the time. So we designed this nestable table that is the perfect solution for her. It doesn't take a lot of space, but we just did not have enough time to finish it. So today we finished that, and the other project was something we did a few weeks ago as well. It was the second banister for our stairs, so Grandpa DIY can go up and down in safety. Again, those are small projects, but that's the reality of DIY, right? We want to show you every aspect. It's not always making something like this, which is fun and a big impact project, right? I mean, it was for us for sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to do the little things, the little projects, and pay attention to detail. So stick around. This is going to be a very good episode, and you are still my favorite viewer. So we start by taking a piece of scrap that fits our needs, and in this case, it's this piece of scrap. And for our specific case, we're going to cut it in half, right?
Yep, so I've kind of marked where I think it should go, and it's a good size for what we need.
Okay. Really go down. We just turn it around and get it.
So normally we would just be able to lift this and let the blade finish cutting it, but this was not quite enough. So now you can see we're just turning it, lining it back up, and
Put
finish.
it in before you start it, in this case only. Okay, not all the way, do not touch it. Lift it 5 millimeter.
Right there.
Okay, but I don't want you touching the uncut plat. That's what I'm trying to
Okay.
explain. Okay, so now start. So,
Okay. And what's next?
do you want to make 45? No. So since this one is going to be visible, even though we are going to paint it, we're doing a little bit of sanding.
To get the rough spots off.
Yep. And what we're doing is not necessary. You could just repair the damaged wall, right?
Right.
But we want to give it a little bit of an upgraded look.
And strength.
It's a nice improvement from just attaching it to our wall, right? But it is very plain.
Yep.
So what we can do is add a little bit of beveling, as you can see here, on all sides. And this is our scrap testing to find the the correct angle, right?
Right?
And then that gives it a little more finish. And here in our test, we only did it on two sides, and on this side, we just did a straight bevel.
Yep.
But we like this look better.
Yeah.
Don't know how visible is it on the.
No, it is. You can see. Good.
So if you want to make sure, if it is a square piece, it's easy, but this is not square. This is a parallelogram. Parallelogram. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to bring it, for the bevel we decided, we're going to align it there, we're going to lock it, and we're going to run it through the saw. Now we don't have to change anything to do the other side, right? What we're going to do is put it on our fence, because this is the same dimension.
Right. We do both either side first.
Right.
And you don't want to move the fence because we didn't change the size of the board.
Correct.
And you want to make sure it's the correct orientation with the bevel down.
Yeah. Now, however, our dimension changes. As you can see, if we cut it here, it won't be good, right?
Right.
So now we're going to move it again. And again, what we decided is to have a point here. If you don't have a point, you can make a line to know where you align it, right? But
With a piece of tape, you can
Right.
put a line. Yep.
so we're going to make one cut. And now we have one side that is uncut, but we don't have to change anything, right? Again, bevel down because that's the same dimension. And as you can see in a line, we don't have to move anything, right?
Yep.
We're in the correct alignment. And go through again. And just like that, we transform a very plain piece of wood to a nice detail. And you see a very nice corner there? Brings the character of the wood. It gives it more of a three-dimensionality, right?
Yep.
So you can take a very simple piece of wood and make it nicer. So I don't think, I mean, you can sand it some more if you want, but I think it's fine any way you want it. So as you can see, we're using a hand sanding here, Mrs. DIY.
Yep.
You don't need to go crazy with it, right?
No, but I do want it to be smooth.
But you don't want it to round over those sharp edges.
No.
That's important. That doesn't look good if rounded.
No, and I need a finer grit right now just to get this a little smoother.
So we sandpaper changed to a nice purple one. Would be nice if the grids were color-based, wouldn't it?
I was gonna say, yeah, that would be really cool.
But they are not.
No, it's just whatever they decide to make them.
So do this to your satisfaction and then finish to your satisfaction. You can stain it, you can Suzuki bang it, which for a bathroom actually is a good idea, right?
If you like the finish when it matches,
Right.
just because it
That's
makes
what I
it
mean.
waterproof, yeah.
For us, it doesn't make sense to stain it or Suzuki bang it.
Right.
So we are going to paint it a nice white that matches most of the things in our bathroom. So our piece is finished, and while it is very simple and took us really very little time to make, right?
Right.
This is a piece that, if I was to go to Michael and buy this piece of wood or Walmart, I would pay $5-10, right?
Yeah, between 5 and 10.
Because this is the difference. This is what adds value to something, right? Instead of having just a piece of wood on the wall, now you have a finished project.
Right, and they call it like a plaque or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what gives it the value. But yeah, between $5 and $10 depending on where you're buying it.
And of course, you can achieve the same look with a router bit.
Of course.
But I find for something that dimension, I find the table so better because
Yeah, works just
with
right.
a router, it's hard to hold the piece and router it, and the supervisor approves. We have two supervisors today.
Yeah, the supervisors.
Uh-oh. Are we in trouble? Both supervisors are here.
They're watching us very closely.
Yep. Just like that, we transform our table saw into a painting station, right? And just to show you, we are actually using the organization system we used before. We have put labels and everything, right? This is very creatively named paintbrushes. And that makes it so easy organization-wise, right? What we find is that we needed to have double the number.
Yeah.
This is really good, but you know. So this is DIY, is all gloved up. And our piece is ready. Riveting cinematography. This is how you open a Kills can, right?
Right.
And why are we using Kills, Mrs. DIY?
Well, because we want it to be white, and this has, although it has some lovely grain in it, we really don't want that showing through. We
Okay.
want it to be a solid piece, as if,
And look at this very expensive stirring stick.
yeah. You use what you got.
And Kills is designed to cover up discoloration.
Well, it might not cover all this, but it will mute it. This is kind of a heavy note. And what else is going to choose? Let's do like they do on Golf Channel. She's picking a number 2 brush. I thought she was going to go for a number 3. Alpina, what did you think? And she's applying the paint. Look at the technique. Look at the smoothness of the move. Wow. Isn't that what they do in the Golf Channel? I wasn't whispering enough, but the essence was there, right?
No.
So Grandpa DIY tried to use the toilet paper holder as a
Grab
support, as a grab bar. And of course the builder, like every builder, did not put it on a stud or anything, so that came off. So we have to change it, but we decided we're going to beautify it, right? We're going to make it a little more elegant for our bathroom. So we're going to show you how we'll both repair this and improve it. And here is the,
What came out of the wall?
well,
Toilet
It has an anchor. They did put an anchor in there, but the whole thing just came out.
but they cannot support the whole.
Right, but the anchor
way
was
it's coming.
intended to just support that from coming out, but it was not
Right.
intended to be used as a grab bar, and
Right.
so thus we have the giant hole in there.
Now you can repair this
Yeah.
and move it slightly so it will cover most of the damage. Like if you leave it up here, it will become invisible really, but it will not be strong again.
Right, right. So then,
So what we're going to do next, we're going to use a stud finder and see where studs might be on this wall. See if we can possibly cover this and find a stud.
okay,
It's highly unlikely, but let's try it.
okay. Another improvement.
Another improvement we are making is installing a grab bar for Grandpa, because sometimes he has a hard time getting up from the toilet.
Right, and that's what caused our little accident over here, was
Right.
that the toilet paper holder became that holder.
And he's not intended for that.
Right.
So we look and found 2 studs and we mark them.
Right, one's here and one's right here.
And you can be below the marks if you want, because
Yeah.
it will be awkward for you to be on
Yeah.
top. You don't need the grab bar anymore.
Okay. And so then we've marked them, but we're gonna find them again just to demonstrate to you.
No, it's actually a good practice.
Yep.
Because sometimes you have wrong positives. There it was. So we see. That's the middle, and our mark is very close to that middle, right?
And these are not level. We were just marking where the thing
Right.
was, so we will use a level to make sure that our
And you see we didn't find it now, so go in the middle again, where we know there is no stud, and try it again. And good. Okay. And there it is.
we're within about 1/4 of an inch, so we definitely have a stud in that area.
Okay.
And same on the other side.
Do you want to mark where you want to? So like always, when you try to do something simple, it ends up being non-simple, right? We're not sure how exactly they attach this, but we cannot remove it. And we do need to remove it, right? So we've used power drills, we've used everything. The screw rotates, but it doesn't operate within this device, so we cannot remove that screw, which is annoying. So we are going to cut it. So let's do that. And that's how you take a screw out when it doesn't want to come out another way, right?
It's unwelding.
It is unwelding, de-welding. And we might want to use that little, what you call it?
Washer?
Yes, for our new screw.
Okay.
All right, excellent. Now we need to find it. So this was made so it will not come out. Again, here where we cut it, and now holding it stationary, you can see the screw in there moving, but as you can see, it does not come out, right? Amazing. We love making things that are hard to service anymore, right?
Yeah.
So we're not just goobers. We had to cut it. We really tried hard to remove it, and we could not remove it. So
But we're sometimes goobers.
sometimes we are.
But
goobers.
not for this.
In this specific instance, we were not goobers.
Okay, so this is the plaque. It hasn't been finished painting, but what we are going to do is make some holes with a little bit of a countersink so that the screws that we're going to use, which are these, are going to sit in. And what we did was a couple of practices here. We're going to use this smaller, just enough to make the screw head flush. And now we're marking where we want them to be. And then we will take that countersink bit and make the holes. And this is what that countersink bit looks like if you've not seen one before. The drill bit comes through, and then you do have to apply some pressure to make this go in, but again, you can go pretty deep or you can keep it pretty shallow, and the shallow is what we're going to do.
Okay.
And now we've got all 4 of these holes marked. Gonna go ahead.
If you have your finger there, I cannot see it.
I was trying to help.
As you will see here, it wobbles a lot. I'm not sure if it is the beat or if it is my tack, and that's something I'm going to have to check in the future.
And again, we did this pretty shallow, just enough to make this screw head go in here. And we'll do all 4 of these. So now we've got the white paint ready to go. Ooh, we dribbled on the side now.
Well,
Trying to be very neat because obviously the more paint you get in your rim, the harder it is to keep things neat and tidy, and also to get your paint can open again later. So I don't know what you did with it either, so that doesn't help us right now.
Somebody's a pourer, a 3D pourer.
Yes. Anyway, so now we're gonna use this white paint to paint the piece.
And then we're going to wait for paint to dry.
Our favorite.
Yeah.
And you can see we've got this stacked up. We put some extra blocks of wood under there because of the length of that drill bit. We didn't want to damage anything below. And this is going to come up looking nice, I think, don't you?
I think so.
And it'll really give it a finished look and give it that extra support that we need on that wall.
So we start by assembling our grab bar. And I try to remember if it goes this way or that way. Let me take one out. What way do you think it goes?
I think it goes that way.
It is keyed. It should have a key somewhere, but I don't see it.
well, there's a key right
I see
there.
that there. I don't see it on this anywhere. I guess it makes sense that it goes this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. You want to grab one of those big screws, please?
It's a bolt.
The big screw bolts. Big screw bolts.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, the metal that holds the weight is not as substantial as you would think. Because this is the metal, right, that holds the weight. A little bit of a tip, it is easier to pass the bolt first through the middle hole and then align it versus try to align it first and then make the bolt fit, right?
Just because the threads are a little bit finicky.
Yep. And I would like to take something to tighten this.
Yep.
Since that's all the weight.
Okay.
This support all the weight, so take your time to don't overdo it. It's just tight, but take your time to tighten it enough because if you overdo it, it's going to bend this piece, and then it will not fit correctly on the little covers will not fit correctly on it if it's deformed. And the next step will be finding our marks and making holes and drilling and putting it on the wall.
That's a lot of steps.
That's a lot of steps.
Okay.
And that was a stud. And now we need to use our level. This needs to be level. Well, I guess it doesn't need to, but it is
It should.
better if it is.
This is DIY definitely prefers it to be.
Of course, if this is not level, if the window is not level,
Well, it's not about the window, it's about the...
I mean, it will look bad.
Here. Do it sideways or upside down for that one. I'm still holding it against the wall, so you're good.
All right, we're going to do the remaining, not the next. There are 3 screws per side, right?
I don't really.
That feels pretty sturdy to me. The next step is to cut them. And it feels nice and finished. We are waiting for paint to dry for this, right? And we chose not to repair it because there's no reason. It's going to be covered, right? But again, if you weren't putting a piece of wood over it like we do, or what you will call that, not a piece of wood, but a finish,
Black.
It's a plaque.
a plaque, then you will have to repair this, right?
And that's fairly simple to do.
Yeah, but all of us hate drywall work. So.
Actually, I don't mind it at all.
Well, okay, we'll have you fix it in the
Okay.
future.
I've
Okay.
done it plenty of times. Anyway, these caps just slide right over. They just stay in place, and then if you ever needed to remove it, you just twist it a little bit, and it should pop right
Okay,
out.
Mrs. DIY, pretend you're 80 years old and you cannot get up. Did you feel it giving up at all? I mean, I think it's
No.
very steady. Okay. So, Grandpa DIY, who is on vacation, will enjoy having his grab bar.
Okay, and we're gonna check the level again.
It's too late. All right, so coming back, these little containers make it so useful. Taking what you want inside, right? And our paint brushes go back up, and we remain nice and organized, right? We have our safety glasses there, we have lasers there, we have a windshield repair kit, chip removal tools, veneer calipers and compasses, and non-contact and standard voltmeters. So we have everything and a few things we don't need to do.
Right.
So a couple of months ago we built this stackable, nestable, what is it called? Nesting computer desk for Mrs. DIY for when she works at home, and all kinds of other things took priority and we never finished it, right? And the only thing we need to do is actually put a brace in the bottom because it has the tendency to bow in, right? So this is what we're going to do today for our third chore of the day. So stick around, we're going to have fun again.
So we have flipped the desk on its side so that we have gravity kind of helping us hold this in place. We're putting the brace down as low as we can get it on the legs of this part of the desk. And we have some kind of finish screws here we're going to use. We are going to drill some pilot holes, hopefully to minimize any splitting. And we're going to put 2 screws per side on this. And again, this isn't designed to hold weight, it's designed to hold the legs apart and in place so that the legs don't collapse inward.
And so all the stresses will not be against the screws actually, right?
Right.
will be the other direction, but the screws will hold it in place when we move it and when we do other things. Pilot holes are always a good idea for finished furniture, especially when you're very close to an edge or corner, which are very prone to actually split the wood. Now, a pilot hole will not guarantee that the wood will not split, but it makes it far more unlikely than if you do not use a pilot hole.
And these do require a specialized bit, which we have purchased and have with us.
And these are called finishing screws because they're very, very small heads.
Yep, there we go. So those two are in. We're going to flip the desk over to its other side and do the other two.
So now we are done and the table is ready to be deployed for service, right?
Mm-hmm. So we have both braces in place.
Excellent. So since today we're finishing projects that we started and life got in the way and we did not finish, we're going to finish this. As you can see, the color is very similar, but it doesn't look the same because it has only one cover of poly, right? Mm-hmm. We need to do a light sanding and then two more poly covers. So we're going to do that, and that will conclude our fun for today.
Back at the stair rail, we got to start with the sanding to get that first coat of poly kind of down and flat, right?
Yeah, I've got this 600 sandpaper. I'm going to start with that and see how it goes. Just to get, because there's some, little lumps, little bumps as you feel. It's not, really rough, but rough enough that if you're sliding your hand along, you can definitely feel it. Oh, that's smooth as glass. Nice. Alright, we're going to give this a nice sand, and then we'll come back with some poly.
Got the sanding all done here and getting started with the next coat of poly, and I understood it to be you need 2 more coats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And how long does it take between these coats?
Usually at least an hour if you don't have air circulating over it.
Mm-hmm. But also we're inside with the air conditioner on, so the humidity's not going to be adversely affecting the dry time on this, right?
Right.
So this should dry pretty well. Awesome.
So with our paint dry, we're ready to start attaching the hardware.
And to make this a little bit easier, because this is the part that goes to the actual toilet tissue holder, we're going to put this on to the backer board before we install it to the wall.
Yep.
Trying to get it as centered as possible. And because we're putting this on a piece of wood, we are using a shorter screw just to hold it in place.
Hold on a second, though. Does it have an up and down? I think it does.
Okay, so what we did was get it oriented, because when you look at this device, there's actually a little place where you push like a flathead that releases this, and so we want to make sure that that is facing down. And now we've got it where we want it to go, so it's just attaching it to the backer board. Our little plaque.
You want to change it? Or it's already done?
It's not all the way down.
Yeah, it hasn't moved, right? Okay.
I'm trying to see.
Okay.
Now it's solid there. But we don't want to touch that until after we put it
No,
on the
we
wall,
want to
right?
touch it here.
Okay. All right, and that just snaps in, and now it's solid.
Okay.
And
And 4
now,
screws.
now for the wall.
So here we are in our
Double.
bathroom. So we're positioning to where we think we want it. We're looking at it to make sure it is indeed where we want it.
Do you want it up, down?
A little bit up. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah. If for some reason this come off, we can always put anchors behind them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the plate will hide any damage to the wall. Very good. And this is our completed project. Well, I guess now it's completed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, friends, we are finished with our 4 little projects, and we try to give you tips and tricks along the way, so you know how to do things like that yourselves, right? We're very pleased with our toilet paper holder. It looks nice. It matches the decor again. When you do things like that, putting stain will be not a good solution here, right? But
Right.
it matches our window. It matches our furniture there.
Matches the baseboard, all
Right.
white. Yeah.
And the screws match the bar. So project number 1, project number 2, and this will improve the quality of life of Grandpa DIY, right? Will make it easier for him to get in and out of the bathroom.
Yep.
And this, of course, just looks better because it was on the floor for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Same on us for not taking care of it, right?
Okay.
So now this is very smooth to the touch, and it looks very similar to this one.
Yep.
Nice scene, as you can see. So sometimes it takes a little bit of time to do all your projects. And Mrs. DIY's nesting desk is also done, and you can see it has also a nice scene, you know.
Yep. And the cross piece that we put in there is installed and looking good.
And it's crossing.
Yep.
And we are done.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Well, friends, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Urban Homesteading Channel. And if you did, we would appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't hit the other button twice, share, like, subscribe. Understand, not always there is a big project that you have to do, but a lot of times little projects what we did today have a big impact on both the look of your house and the quality of your life, right? From Professional DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida, let's finish a project or two together.